Move from predators to depression, lower test scores, and anxiety. Social media's impacts on teens and children have led one country to ban it for anyone under 16. Parents here in the U.S. applauding the move in Australia to shut down more than 1 million Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, and Reddit accounts for young teens. Joining us this morning to talk about some of the biggest tech headlines is cybersecurity expert and privacy attorney Lisa Garber. Good morning to you, Lisa. You know, as a mom of 2 girls, one of whom is a teenager, you know, I like what Australia is doing here. Clearly, research has shown how detrimental it is to the most vulnerable. Would we ever see something like that here, though? And how is it being enforced there?
Great question, Jan. And you're not the only mom to agree that this is a great idea. What we've seen in Australia is the only way that they've found to effectively stop all of the negative consequences that have been proven time and again from social media is to simply ban it for anyone under 16. They're using different age verification mechanisms. There's verifying a government ID, there's using a live video selfie. There are many other ways to do this across the world. But what we're seeing in the United States is we're coming at it more from a death by 1,000 cuts process, which is having states step in, since there is no federal ban being considered, and looking at the different negative impacts that social media has. So looking at the addictiveness, looking at the negative consequences like exposure to violent and sexual material. There are different ways to approach this. Right now, the only federal law on the books is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which only says if you're under 13, they can't collect data from you.
Well, here at home, you know, it'd be interesting to see how that would be, you know, enforced here. President Trump, though, does plan to do something else that could help American families as well, and that's signing an executive order blocking states from writing their own AI regulations, arguing that a patchwork of 50 different states having AI laws would cripple innovation. He says it would hand China the advantage in this critical tech race. What safeguards have to be put in place?
Right now, there are no safeguards in place, and states are the only entities that are stepping in and trying to make artificial intelligence safer. From the federal level, the government's initiative and directive has been move fast, break things, do whatever we can to be #1 in artificial intelligence, which has many positive aspects, but the negatives are hugely there as well. As we've seen the lawsuits come up from parents saying that their children have been exposed to violent sexualized contact, they become addicted to artificial intelligence platforms and their chatbots. There have been children that have been influenced to commit suicide. We see almost a dozen of these lawsuits across the country. So states are stepping in to attempt to legislate this, whether it's through safety guardrails or other mechanisms, just to make sure that there's something in place, because right now there is nothing, and the big tech platforms at the forefront of this are the ones in control.
It certainly makes you think that what Australia is doing is getting way ahead of this, knowing that this AI race could, in fact, make it even more detrimental for young children, you know, for young teens who are allowed and unfortunately exposed to this kind of thing. Finally, I want to ask you about a federal judge ordering OpenAI to turn over 20 million ChatGPT logs in its copyright battle with the New York Times. The company says this threatens user privacy. The court says that these are, you know, safeguards. Could this case change how AI companies collect and store user data going forward?
Most likely not. And you know this as a news professional, as a journalist, these AI platforms are gobbling up every kind of information available on the internet, and they're arguing that it's just free use, it's fair use. And that's what these copyright cases are looking into. The New York Times and many others arguing you're not allowed to use this just because you can view it on the World Wide Web. And so OpenAI and other companies are arguing, well, we have to save these chats and the way that our large language models process data because this is a privacy concern. It's not. The concern is that they are using this data and it's not legal. So that's what we'll see play out in the courts in the next couple months and the next couple of years.
Cybersecurity expert and privacy attorney Lisa Garber. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you.